Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Genus Power in Q4 and FY21 earnings conference call. This conference call may contain forward-looking statements about the company which are based on the beliefs, opinions, and expectations of the company as on date of this call. These statements are not guarantees of future performance and involve risks and uncertainties that are difficult to predict. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Kailash Agarwal, Vice Chairman of Genus Power Infrastructures Limited. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Agarwal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all are safe and sound. We all are facing this pandemic and are in problems. A very warm welcome to the Q4 FY21 earnings call of Genus Power. With me is Joint Managing Director of the company, Mr. Jitendra Agarwal, and our Investor Relations Advisor, SGA. The results and investor presentations are already uploaded on the stock exchange and company website. I hope you could have seen that. Our capacity utilization remained subdued in quarter 4 FY21 due to very muted volume offtake by the DISCOMs due to disruptions of COVID-19 pandemic. As our business is customer-centric and it requires a lot of human intervention, and that has severely impacted the restrictions and movement and lockdowns has impacted the movement of the meters also. The overhang of COVID-19 is likely to persist at least for quarter 1 of FY22 and maybe more, we never know. However, we anticipate that sharp revival is possible in metering industry in quarter 2 FY22. We have recorded a sales of 191 crores for Q4 FY21 as compared to 169 crores in Q3. The revenue growth was impacted and was subdued because of volume offtake by SEBs, as I stated earlier also. Q4 FY21 EBITDA profit stood at 39 crores, up by 32% as compared to 30 crores in Q3 FY21. EBITDA margins improved by almost 300 basis points at 20.7 in Q4 FY21, against 17.7 in Q3 FY21, on account of high-end meters, smart meters supplied in this particular quarter. Profit before tax grew up 11% to rupees 30 crores as compared to 8 crores in Q3 FY21. PAT stood at 30 crores, up by almost 67% as against 60 crores in Q3. The increase in PAT is because of one, a reversal of excess tax provision we took in quarter 2 of this financial year of 10.89 crores. Cash PAT at 38 crores, recording an increase of 68%. The current order book is 931 crores, which is good for next at least 2 to 3 quarters. With end clients increasingly scouting for end-to-end solutions, we believe the share of revenue from facility management service, which is recurring in nature, to steadily grow to about 8 to 10% of our total revenue in foreseeable future. So we think that coming time or coming quarters, the things will be improving and we will be doing better in the coming time. I now open the line for question and answer.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. first question is from the line of Ashok Jain from Ayush Capital. Please go ahead. Mr. Jain, please go ahead with your
Hello.
question. Yes.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Good afternoon to the board of directors. Very good afternoon. My first question, sir, is the second COVID wave started in India in the month of April of 2021. However, we lost sales from the middle of February month itself of 2021. Could you kindly please explain how and why this happened? And sir, my other question is, the COVID pandemic has proved that we have high geographical risk with all major sales of our company coming from India, that is the domestic market. Now with EESL looking at Africa and Middle East, are we open for export focus in the immediate near term to mitigate our geographical risk? That's all from my side, sir. I eagerly await your answers to these questions.
Sorry. I muted myself.
Okay, sir.
So your first question is why our sales went slow since February.
Yeah, because sir, the second COVID wave, it started in April, right? But we started losing sales right from the middle of February this year. So why this happened? Could you please elucidate on this?
The feeling of second wave started in Feb itself because most of the electricity boards, the inspections were getting delayed. Whether you talk about electricity boards from MSEDCL, where we are doing a lot of business, or from Tamil Nadu, even from Rajasthan, there was a clear-cut visibility that inspections were getting delayed significantly, which was delaying the sales, and which further only grew. The officers were not ready to come to the factory for the inspection, and unless the inspection is done, they cannot dispatch the material. Secondly, most of the electricity boards, by the time they started picking up the installation, it again started going down from the month of February itself. So, though general public feeling is the pandemic wave started hitting from the month of April, but to the B2G business, it surely started impacting mainly electricity boards from the month of February itself. That was the only reason of slow sales. Absolutely nothing else is contributed to it.
And I would like to add that that's why our FG was very high at the end of the quarter. We were producing in the anticipation that the inspection will happen and we will be able to dispatch all the meters to the DISCOMs. But unfortunately, because the inspections have not happened and we could not get the dispatch advices from them, so our FG was also very high at the end of the year, or say end of the quarter.
And regarding your second question, EESL in Africa, Genus is already into international market. If you see our 19-20 balance sheet, we did almost 3 figures of exports. Last year, exports went down. Hello?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Last year, exports went down significantly because of the pandemic. And as on date, also, we have an order book of 55 crores in the exports division.
Sir, but do we, right now with the domestic market being so weak, do we plan to increase, like really focus hard on the export market, so at least our total sales won't take a hit?
As a company, we have been focusing on export market from last 5 years. The business we are into, this smart metering, it has its own gestation for any country to open up. So all the hard work that has happened in last 4-5 years will surely show results in the near future. It's not that because of pandemic we are focusing on the international market. Any which way, we are very serious on the international market, and especially in Southeast Asia, Middle East, and in African continent. We have been doing a fairly good amount of work. Last year was slow, but you will see a lot of improvement in the near future.
And secondly, I would like to add that by ESL entering will also give a big boost to the company, as now we will have two options to participate. We can, where the payment terms are direct LC payments, or where we don't have to do OPEX and all, there we can participate directly. And where there are OPEX and there are other conditions are there, we can participate through ESL. So no doubt, ESL entering these markets will give a big boost to the company. And we
definitely, there is no doubt. ESL is our major customer. We are their most important supplier. If they grow, we are bound to grow with them.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you very much for the answers. Thank you. Best wishes from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Suraj Navandar from Prithvi Finmart. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. So this new scheme which is launched by the government, this is reform-based, return-based scheme, it sounds very similar to the, I guess, Uday scheme that government had launched earlier. But government was not able to achieve whatever they had set as a target. So what gives us confidence that government will, achieve these targets this time under this new scheme?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So now this scheme, as we all understand, anything in government takes its own time to get seeped into the distribution sector, or it's a federal structure, as we all understand. A lot of this thing has been seeped into the distribution system now. So whatever we were seeing earlier has been significantly changed, even in the attitude of the distribution companies. And this time, even the central government has learned how to be more forceful in getting their scheme implemented. If you see the current scheme, which is CAPEX plus OPEX, where there is a clear-cut standard bidding document has been created by National Smart Grid Mission. And same has been the part of the scheme. Okay, if you use these standard bidding documents, and a clear-cut target has been given that by 2023 we want you to do the DT metering, by 2025 we want you to complete agriculture, and by 2025 we want you to complete the prepaid. Earlier they were also learning, and they were making the schemes which are not very easily implementable by the distribution companies. But this time the scheme has been much more practical. Everybody has learned in the last 3 to 4 years. And if you see the amount of tenders that has come in just last 45 to 60 days, it is visible that almost every state is going to implement these schemes in a major way in the times to come. And they have nothing to lose. And if they want subsidies from central government, they will have to take these schemes. Plus, if you see these schemes, they have this time completely bifurcated the states according to the finance companies. 50% are with REC, 50% are with PSC. There's a clear-cut guideline. This is how you have to do. And all these standard bidding documents, this scheme this time has been prepared with the help of the distribution companies. It is not a one-way traffic. It is absolutely a two-way traffic. And a lot of work has happened in the last 18 months. And as metering industry, we are also part of this whole scheme while preparing the documents, while working on the schemes. So there is a major difference in what was visible 2 years back and what is visible today from the schemes.
Okay. So how has been the month of May for us?
In terms of?
In terms of dispatches, in terms of,
It's the lowest ever. Very, very bad.
Oh, okay.
April and May are practically washed out. Who will, when people were not ready to travel even in the month of February and March, April and May, so it's almost all the electricity boards are practically shut down. And they are only preparing most of the electricity boards. Whatever the work they are doing, that ensuring that 24/7 supply to the country. And this is, I think, is the most important job they are doing currently.
Okay. And once this COVID wave subsides, you feel that the...
Imagine, just to give you some numbers, the amount of heat these people have also faced. Only in Rajasthan, we have lost more than 100 field engineers in electricity board. I'm not talking of positive, I'm talking of we have lost more than 100 people.
So once this COVID wave subsides, I mean, we are already peak is behind us and we are at like 1.5 lakh cases a day now. So once we start to open up, you think that the smart metering will pick up at very huge space, or it will gradually pick up its space?
It will pick up very, very quickly. There's a reason behind it. If you will see the amount of tenders which have come in last 2-3 months, they are all getting postponed. They all have to get quoted now, because electricity board is now they are not going to buy conventional meters. Metering connection is, they can't give electricity without an electricity meter. So almost every electricity board across the country has come out with the tenders, so that they can decide it very quickly and they can start getting the supplies ASAP. So I am seeing a lot of work will happen in next 2 to 3 months.
Okay, thank you, sir. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dilip Jain, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. My questions have already been answered. Our best wishes to you. We understand it's the pandemic that is causing the sales problem. Best wishes, sir. No questions at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Maheshwari from Om Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, hi. This is Manish here from Om Capital Markets. Sir, if one were to understand the smart metering solution and the opportunity therein, by and large, leaving aside the pandemic for maybe for a quarter or two, what's the bigger opportunity that we are eyeing over next 2 to 3 years? And sir, what is the current capacity utilization?
So just to give you an idea, which will give you a fair amount of idea about the size of the opportunity. Currently, you will see in last financial year 2021, there were tenders of 4,000 crores which came out. Though if you will see historically, if you compare from the conventional meters, generally the size of the industry was hovering around 2,500 to 3,000 crores. And last year, even if there was a pandemic, still there was a tenders of almost 4,000 crores which came out of which only 1,200 crores could be decided. So currently we are sitting on live tenders of 2,941 crores, which are already quoted and which will be decided in the next 2 to 3 months, is what I believe. Plus, already tenders worth 7,200 crores has been out, which would have been quoted or by this month if pandemic would not have been there. Because of the pandemic, all these tenders will get quoted in next 30 to 45 days. So currently we are sitting on an opportunity currently on orders or tenders which are out is more than 10,000 crores, and which will be decided in next 3 to 6 months. And we are already sitting on an order book of 930 crores. So this gives you an idea of what kind of opportunity we are sitting on.
Basically, I would like to add that from a market size of 3,000 crores per year, right now we are sitting on the tenders worth 10,000 crores. So basically, if it would have been a normal market size, this is for the tenders for almost 2.5 to 3 years. And Genus, seeing the success ratio always of 25%, 27% market share, now you can understand the type of business that has to come and the type of volume Genus can do in next coming 2-3 years, provided we come out of this pandemic and all.
And your second question was regarding the capacity utilization. If you talk of this quarter, it is negligible. Hello.
For last 3 quarters?
Basically, we number of meters produced. JK, do you have the numbers last financial year? The number of meters we have made.
In last financial year, I don't have the exact.
We will come back with this. We will come back with.
But the capacity utilization is not even 50-55%.
No.
Very low.
Last year it was not even 54.
Yeah.
So, what is the kind of, I mean, do we already have an order pipeline in place? What is the kind of order, quantum of order that we are anticipating maybe in maybe, say, a couple of quarters? Because our book to bill right now is 1.5x. We are sitting at 1.5.
I could not understand your question.
Even I could not understand.
Sir, what is the kind of order inflow we are anticipating over next few quarters?
As we clarified you that already the company has participated in tenders worth 3,000 crores.
Okay.
There are tenders pending of 7,200 crores. Right now, total tenders we can see is 10,000 crores. And company has a success of 25 to 27% in last, if you see historically. So basically, we hope that in next 6 to 9 months, if these tenders are decided, or say in 1 year these tenders are decided, so we will be sitting on an order book for next 2 years.
Sure. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Manik Malhotra, from individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So good afternoon to everyone. So I basically wanted to know the proportion of sales for the net metering. So net metering is like catering to the solar business. So I just wanted to know how our company is like related to like capitalizing the opportunity of solar in next few years or quarters. So this is my first question.
So just to give you idea on the net metering, nowadays most of the electricity boards are buying meters with the net metering facility in itself. So it's not that specifically you are the meters, the net meters in the solar application also. And net metering opportunity is not very, very large if you see the overall scheme of things. Let's say in Genus, last year, if you see, we have done business of 600 crores. The net meters will be, out of these 600 crores, only meters that are used on net meters will be to the tune of 3 to 4 crores. So it's not an opportunity which, as in layman, you will realize it's not that we are not making net meters or when meters are not being used for the solar application. Nowadays, the normal conventional meters, what we manufacture, or the smart meters, are designed in a way it can be used for the net meters also.
Okay. So they are designed in such a way that they can like take that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So most of the electricity boards are using the net meters within their purchase quantity.
Okay. And any updates on the demerger? In last call, you updated about the demerger. So
No, yet same. The situation is same. Already, the proposal is with SEBI, and we are waiting for their approval.
Okay. And best wishes to the team, and I hope each and every employee of Genus is safe. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Dipen Shah, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. I had a couple of questions, maybe a repetition of what was asked earlier. Just wanted to understand the capacity utilization which was asked earlier. Like to what level of meters or with what quantity of meters can we produce with the existing capacity, or maybe in terms of revenues, what is the revenue we can reach with the existing capacity which we have? And the second thing is, based on what you said, is that if about 10,000 crores of orders are going to be bid out and won in the next 2 quarters, is it a potential or do we have the potential of an order book of about 2,500 crores from that? That is the second question. And the third question is if you can just let us know what are the major competitors for us in the smart meter space. Thank you so much.
So on the capacity utilization, we can comfortably produce 10 million meters. So you can say current our capability is manufacturing 10 million meters. We can give you a revenue of 2,000 to 2,500 crores in the current situation. And this 10 million can be easily enhanced to 15 to 20 million with 6 to 9 months of maximum work, because we have made our plant machinery and everything has been invested in a way where Genus can go up to 20 million very comfortably. So that is the kind of capacity we have created over the years. Capacity and capability, I would say. The second question, the capacity utilization currently is very, very low. That we all know, the last financial year is not even 50%, and even this first 2 quarters is very negligible. It's in a tough times are going on when it comes to capacity utilization. Your second question was if there are tenders worth 10,000 crores which are in the market, and what is the probability of Genus in these tenders? So yes, it is not impossible that Genus has an order book, but yes, it's difficult to commit. You never know in the business what happens. But for a company like Genus to have an order book of 2,000 crores to 2,500 crores coming out of these tenders is not something which is impossible. It's surely a achievable thing. So our order book should be very good in next 2 to 3 quarters. Your fourth question was?
The competition. Who are the major competitors?
Regarding the competition. So there are primarily 2-3 large companies in the country which are our major competitors, like Schneider Electric, which has taken over L&T. Earlier it was L&T. So I would say Schneider Electric, Secure Meters, HPL, Socomet, Landis & Gyr. They are the, I would say, A-grade competitors to our industry.
And if you have any numbers, what would be the market share of Genus vis-a-vis the other 3-4 competitors, the large one?
I would say Genus domestically is at the range of 25 to 27%.
Okay. Thank you very much and all the best.
Currently. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Shah from A Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hi, sir. Sir, I had a couple of questions. So first would be, sir, despite lack of operating leverage, our margins were much higher in Q4. So what is the reason behind the same? And secondly, sir, as our execution picks up the pace in coming quarters, can we expect these EBITDA margins to improve further?
Basically, if you talk about fourth quarter, the margin, as I told in my opening remarks also, that sometimes we do a very high meters in some particular quarter. So this particular quarter was mainly, there were less of conventional meters and more of smart meters and high-end meters. So the EBITDA margin was at a level of 20% or something like that. Otherwise, normally, if you see our EBITDA margins remains at 16-17%. And for the coming time, as you asked, that coming 2 quarters, there will be certainly a problem. This going quarter and next quarter, there won't be EBITDA levels of 16-17% as guided by us earlier. And if I recall, in the month of January conference call, I gave a guidance of almost 16-17% of the EBITDA margins for the coming year. And that time there was a question that there might be some hit up because of the raw material prices and all commodity prices going up will affect Genus margins. And we were knowing that surely there will be effect of raw material prices increase on our EBITDA margins by 2-3%. But we were very sure that because of ongoing volumes and increase in volumes in coming years, as we had a target of around 1,200 crores for the financial year 22 at that time. And we were thinking that whatever the impact of raw material coming on our margins will be covered by the volumes. But now coming time, there won't be volumes also this first quarter. There will be lesser volumes. Second quarter also, there might be impact of volumes. And secondly, raw material prices even have increased more than January, February itself. From there itself, the commodities prices are shooting for almost 40-50% again. So first 2 quarters, as our order book is 950 crores and the orders are of old price and there is no escalation clause in our business. So there will be an impact of volumes also, and there will be an impact of prices, commodity prices also, raw material prices also, our BOM prices also. So for sure, first quarter there will be a very lesser EBITDA margins. For second quarter there will be a lesser margins. From third quarter we hope that again the margins will start coming back to the normalcy of 16-17%, as we hope that the volumes will also increase very well, number one. And number two, new orders, the supplies from the new orders, where we are passing on all raw material prices impact to the customer, will start coming for supplies and all. So that will also, so basically first 2 quarters there will be a subdued margins, there will be an impact on margins for sure. And from third quarters we hope that it will be back to the normal. So basically this is mainly because of the volumes and raw material prices. There is no decrease in prices of meters, and we are able to pass on whatever the raw material prices has impacted us. We are able to pass on that to our customer. But because of the old orders and there is no escalation clause, it will certainly affect. And volume is also decreasing, so it will be not. There will be impact of volume and raw material prices both.
Okay, sir, got it. Sir, my next question would be, sir, on our business restructuring. Sir, may I know when will the demerger process get over?
I think by end of this financial year, because everything is getting delayed. We are waiting for the SEBI approval since last 3 months or maybe more, because of this pandemic and all, it is all getting delayed. So once the SEBI approval comes, we go to NCLT, it's a process. So we hopefully see that by end of this financial year, it will be done. Next balance sheet will be without this, with this merger and all.
Okay, and sir, what is Genius Power gaining from this demerger?
So basically, as I told last time also, we want to become a pure metering company, and this investment is not bringing any value addition to the company, rather is decreasing its ROC, ROE. So that will be going out, and shareholders of Genius Power won't be losing anything because they are getting share of that value of other company. But Genius, here there will be a benefit because it will become a pure metering company, and it certainly the management can focus more on that.
Okay, got it, sir. And can you shed some light on business operations of Genius Prime Infra and the growth plans of that entity?
Right now, I am not ready with that because that I don't have that numbers and plans right now with me.
Okay, fine. Sir, and what was our working capital cycle for FY21, and what are the receivable days? And will the implementation of pay-as-you-save model lead to substantial improvement in this working capital cycle?
FY21 payment cycle was very bad because all electricity boards were in bad shape because of supplies and all, and because of this pandemic and all, and our debtors days increased drastically. So you cannot measure the company's working capital cycle with that particular year or that financial year 21. There will be certainly an improvement in the coming days, and with this this scheme also there will be improvement in working capital cycle.
Sir, and the last question, if I may. So how is our gas metering business panning out? What are the prospects of the gas meter business in FY22?
Gas meter business is taking a good shape. Just to, for the interest of the audience, we will see the total domestic market of gas meters is estimated to be around 4.2 crore meters till 2029. This is the outlay government has made. And further, there is an expectation that further 1 crore gas metering connections will be added during this period. So we are expecting around 5 crore gas meters in next 8 to 9 years. So that will make it an industry of around 6,500 to 7,000 crores in the times to come. So this is what our expectation is. So even if it, and you will see what all we have done in the last 6 to 12 months. We have done a supply of 10,500 meters in last financial year, which has given us a good impetus in the market. We have got all the desired certification, which takes a lot of time, and it is a very big entry barrier in this industry. So last 2 years of hard work has given us most of the certifications, and one of the key certificate is also expected in next 2 to 3 months. So I am expecting our gas meter to be substantial from 22-23.
Okay, sir. And the margins in this meter business would they be better than smart electricity meters?
I would say almost the same.
Okay, almost the same. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Isha Chawla from RS Capital. Please go ahead.
With respect to pay-as-you-save model in smart metering space that is being introduced by IntelliSmart, that will change dynamics of the industry. Can you explain in detail as to how this model will redefine the industry? And also, have we started getting positive response from DISCOMs on this business model?
Yes, DISCOMs are reacting positively to this pay-as-you-save model because the financially strapped DISCOMs, we all know they don't have money to pay upfront with the huge investment shifting to smart meters or prepaid meters. So this model will surely gain momentum, and it is not that this momentum is only from IntelliSmart. IntelliSmart is going to be one of the major players into this. But all this, even REC is taking a lot of interest into it, even companies like Genus. Even we will take some OPEX projects, whatever our capability would be. So as Genus, we will have 3 business models. We will work as an OPEX company ourselves also. We will take end-to-end solution projects where there will be complete capex, and all these companies like IntelliSmart or REC or IPCL like Shrey Finance, we will be their solution providers. So definitely this will see a major momentum in the times to come and in a very short period of time.
And sir, is this similar model also followed by a smart metering industry across other geographies, or is this only unique?
Across the globe, the difference is here we are saying pay-as-you-save model is already EESL is doing the same thing. If you will see what EESL is doing currently is almost the same thing. They have just, though there are some changes in the way of working, and they have redefined or repositioned themselves with a different way. Already EESL is doing something like this only. And globally also, if you'll see countries like Australia, in US, most of the countries, it is this model only where somebody is providing the solution, somebody is financing it. It's more like a solar industry model, where because of the huge capex investment, there are people who come up with the capex investment.
Okay, sir, that was helpful. And sir, I have one more question. Could you please provide a breakup of our revenue in terms of conventional meters, smart meters, and FMS? Also, how much revenue was from export business? And similarly, I need some data on if you could also provide some breakup of the order book.
Sorry,
I can't hear you.
Ms. Chawla, the audio is breaking from your line.
Please, sir, can you please hear me?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a breakup of our revenue in terms of conventional meter, smart meter, and FMS. Also, how much revenue was from export business?
Just unable to. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Ms. Chawla,
Yes, sir.
please go ahead.
Yeah, but currently we are asking of the order book breakup or your
Yeah, breakup. Smart meter and FMS.
Yeah, but currently, if you'll see, our order book is around 930 crores, out of which 584 crores is on smart meters, 345 is on the conventional meters. And if you talk of FMS, Out of this 930 crores, 151 crores is from the FMS. So which will be realized in over the period of 5 years.
It was how much?
Sorry to interrupt
I
you,
can't-
Mr. Chavla. The
You
audio is
cannot
breaking.
properly.
Ms. Chavla, the audio is breaking from your line. Please check.
Am I audible now?
Ma'am, the audio is still breaking. I would request you if you rejoin the question queue, please. Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Amish Kanani from JM Financial Services. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. Sir, I wanted to understand, given the precarious conditions, at least in the COVID year from SEB, what is our strategy to, bid vis-a-vis? What kind of state SEBs are we selecting? Do we keep their ratings in mind, or our track record of we getting collections from them is what, a key parameter in terms of our relationship with them, versus, say, a state rating, where states are coming into the picture and supporting the SEB. So how do we go about, doing it? Because large part of our returns is based on, working capital investment that we make from these orders. So can you give us some sense of, how are we better? And despite that, how do we get this, market share of 25% in these, categories? Thanks.
What you are asking is strategy to select customers.
Yes.
Because
yes.
of their financial position.
What kind of state SEB do we, and,
So just to give you an idea on this, we as such, except Gujarat, in my let's say 2 decades of experience in the distribution business, I won't say except the state of Gujarat, I've not seen a single utility which is able to maintain their ranking ever. So if as a metering company we start ranking a company and then accordingly try to quote them, will never work.
Yes, sir. Exactly. So I want to understand
selecting is we don't get into that jugglery where we are trying to select a customer unless somebody is doing very badly. Like UP, sometimes they do very badly, so you do change your strategy of quoting to them. Otherwise, generally it is very nationwide, it is state to state. It depends more on the specification and the current situation of the SEB.
Okay. So you're saying effectively in the long run we get the money. So
effectively in the long run we get the money. So we have never, because we have a lot of intelligence about the electricity board. So while making the quotation, we generally take into the consideration what kind of payment terms they have.
Okay.
As I told you, except Gujarat, I have not seen a single distribution company in the last 15 years who can be like maintaining their ranking.
Yes, sir. Okay. So you're saying barring 1 or 2 which you avoid, you would not worry too much, and you will keep the overall payment cycle in mind while quoting so that we get a ROC of our desired level, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And sir, if you can just in that context give us what are our, say, write-offs or bad debts over, say, last 3 to 5 years? As a percentage, do we have some number, provisions and write-offs as a percentage of receivable, and do we need to worry? Thanks.
We don't have any write-offs. We don't have any bad debt in not even last 3-4 years. In many years we do. And secondly, as a policy of the company, we keep 0.5% of our sales as provision for all these things. But that remains in the provision, and there is no write-offs or anything or bad debts.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants: anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Suraj Navandar from Prithvi Finmart. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hi, sir. So just want to get the clarity on the bidding process. You supply the meters to the DISCOMs, or you supply meters to the IntelliSmart Infrastructure company?
We supply to both of them. We supply to DISCOMs also, and we supply to IntelliSmart also.
Smart meters, you mean to say?
Yeah, smart meters or any kind of meter.
Okay. So if DISCOMs are okay on their own to buy them. So what was the point of creating that IntelliSmart Infrastructure JV and everything?
IntelliSmart is a facilitator where they take projects and then they buy meters from companies like us. And DISCOMs come out with a tender. For them, IntelliSmart is also a vendor and Genus is also a vendor.
Okay. So out of the total tenders that are live, how much of those are floated by IntelliSmart and how much of them are floated by DISCOMs directly? If you can give a percentage.
IntelliSmart till now has not floated a single tender. So IntelliSmart is an execution company of EESL. So whatever the tenders are floated by EESL.
Okay, so how much percentage
there is no
EESL against DISCOMs?
So they do tie up with the DISCOMs. They take PO from them, and then they float tenders to buy meters from people like us.
JK, how much out of 10,000 is of ESL and how much is that is the question.
Out of 10,000, currently ESL is only one tender of 25 lakh meters. It will be like 700 crores.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you all to remain safe and healthy. Thanks a lot. And we assure you that company will be doing good in coming times and will come out of these all pandemics and all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Genus Power Infrastructures Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.